What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about something completely different because I just did a promotion for my agency, and during the promotion somebody asked me, what are you doing with crypto, NFT, real estate, stuff like that? So in this video I'm going to be talking about my investments, basically what I do with my money besides leave it in my bank account and look at it and drool over it. So I want to get right into this video without further ado because, like I said, it's a little bit different than my normal videos, but I do have some really exciting e-commerce videos coming up over the next month or so, so be sure to stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed yet and you want to see more videos about e-commerce, make sure to click the subscribe and ring the bell to make sure that you're notified next time I upload. So why real estate? Cryptos, NFTs, stocks, there's so many different options, especially right now with NFTs. Most people seem to be putting their money in all these crazy places. Now, real estate was always kind of like a dream of mine. It's something that I knew that I wanted to get into in the back of my head. Obviously, I wanted to build businesses first, and I wanted to figure out how to make a bunch of money before trying to get into real estate. I know some people start with real estate with no money. I kind of waited until I had enough money to do it, and then I started doing it. So it's always something that I wanted to do. And it didn't become real for me until like late 2018, early 2019, when I started to make enough money and save enough money. There was a point in time where I was making enough money, but I just wasn't saving it. I was just spending all of it. Everybody kind of goes through that phase. But once I started saving it, it started to become a reality, and I started to, read books and really educate myself and network and all this different stuff, try to figure out how I could dip my toes into real estate. Now, there's a lot of different stories and a lot of things that I can tell you, but obviously, I do want to say that I am still a beginner in the real estate space. Obviously, my primary hustle is business, right? Like, I have an e-commerce agency. I've been active with Facebook ads and TikTok ads for years. That's kind of the space that I know and completely understand. So take everything that I say in this video lightly, and if you do want really good real estate advice, maybe I'll drop some names of some people that have helped me out a lot throughout the years, such as Ben Mala, Meet Kevin on YouTube. He's an incredible source. Brandon Turner has wrote some amazing books. I'm actually reading one of them right now, and he actually wrote the initial book that I read to get me into real estate. My good friend Marco Epifani and Bruno Malouf, you can find them on my Instagram. I usually post about them here and there. Plenty of resources for you to go out there and learn about it. But yeah, essentially, I decided to get into real estate once I had enough money to, and when I say enough money, I'm probably talking about $100,000, in my bank account, ready to invest in whatever. And again, the reason I chose real estate is just because it's tried and true. I think the main reason I do everything is because it's tried and true. I mean, that's just the kind of person that I am. If you watch my strategies and you look at what I do, I usually go kind of like the more conservative route. Like, I'm not really the kind of person to dump $100,000 into an NFT or cryptos. You can already tell how little I know about them because I don't even really invest a whole lot of time into trying to figure out anything else other than real estate. I basically make money through my businesses and buy real estate, and that's my strategy for getting really wealthy. It's pretty simple. The reason I love real estate so much is the long-term appreciation, loan pay down, and the short-term cash flow. So obviously, if I have a large sum of money and I want to make the most of that money, I like the idea of being able to park it today and continue benefiting for it for literally the rest of my life, or as long as I own that property or keep that equity in the property or move it to a different property or whatever. So I like the idea of being able to make money now and then having that money actually work for me. I guess you could say, like, money works for you in real estate. It's not really a passive investment, and I understand that. It's more of an active investment. You have to manage tenants, you have to look for deals, you have to try to maximize your investment in different places, lower your expenses, increase your income. It's not very passive like maybe crypto or stocks or NFTs might be, but with real estate, again, you do get the compounding effect. And especially being so young, I understand the hidden benefits of, becoming a real estate investor when you're literally 21, or in my case, when I bought my first property, I was 18. So that's really what motivates me, is thinking when I'm like 40 to 50 years old, sitting on a beach with a bunch of money, not really, but that's what I'm thinking, all right? Like, invest a bunch of money over the next 10 years, and then as it compounds over my life, I'll be able to build the wealth that I want to build. So my strategy right now is essentially just buying turnkey properties, things that don't need that much renovations. I pay pretty close to market value, as you'll see in the examples that I give in this video, but they do cash flow really, really well. And the reason I do that, well, we'll get into the reason why I'm following this strategy as opposed to like flipping or any other strategy in real estate, but obviously because it fits my lifestyle very, very good. I have ways to make money using my time, and I don't feel like I really need to be flipping real estate or doing all this crazy stuff in real estate, simply because I'm already doing crazy stuff in business, and I feel like my time is more valuable, spent on the businesses that I have and the opportunities that I have over there. Real estate to me is more of a way to park money and just basically earn dividends on that money. And for me, real estate should be as non-active as possible. I hate the word passive because real estate is definitely not passive. But the reason I say it needs to be as non-active as possible, I just have a ton of other shit going on that I would rather put my time on rather than, dealing with contractors during renovations. And that's just where I'm at in life right now. Maybe that'll change one day. Maybe one day I'll go full time into real estate and I'll start doing, more active flips and, doing more fancy stuff with real estate. But for now, I'm pretty much just buying turnkey properties, park my money, get my cash flow, a little bit of appreciation, and I'm a happy man. So I want to cover a little bit of my goals with real estate, like where I'm trying to get to in the short term, in the long term, what my end goal is, kind of like where I picture myself when I'm kind of settling down and getting ready to stop being such a hustling, monster. Essentially, my first goal with real estate was to build around $3,000 a month in cash flow. And the reason I wanted this is because it basically covers the necessary expenses in a worst case scenario. So let's say the business went to shit, like everything went to shit, because like sometimes, that happens, then I could rely on the cash flow from my real estate to cover my expenses. This is sort of like a safety net. So like if I fuck up and take a big risk over my business and it definitely ruins everything, then I still have real estate and I still have my money coming in from real estate, so I don't have to worry and I can still sleep like a little baby bitch every single night. Now, goal number 2 was essentially building enough cash flow to cover my current lifestyle, not in a worst case scenario. So we're talking about food, all the cars that I have, we're talking about the house, basically all the things that I currently spend in my current lifestyle covered by real estate cash flow. This was important to me because in this scenario, if everything went to shit, like I said, I'd be able to maintain my current lifestyle without needing to, basically stress out about paying my bills or anything like that, or even needing to degrade my lifestyle at all. I could keep the current lifestyle and real estate would pretty much cover it. So that point for me is around $10,000 per month in cash flow. And you'll see from my portfolio, which I'll be sharing with you guys today, I'm not quite there yet. I'm still working on this goal. You will see my cash flow and kind of where I'm at in this video, but I think I'm about a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years away from hitting this goal, which I'm perfectly fine with. In my eyes, I'm right on track to be where I wanted to be. Goal number 3 is going to be kind of like a stage between, prosperity and complete wealth, right? So this point to me is basically where you can live whatever life that you want using the money that you make from real estate and also have enough money left over to save up and reinvest into buying more real estate. This to me is like end game, and it's basically a dream for me to be able to do this, which is essentially living off of your profits from real estate and then also buying more real estate using your profits from real estate. It's kind of like an Inception situation, but in my opinion, it's the best place to be, from a financial standpoint, because it doesn't matter what's going, you can take whatever risks you want over in your businesses, and if you fuck up, you're good, right? Like you can still buy more real estate, you can still live the life that you want to live. So this is kind of where I'm working towards, and I want to be at this point within the next 3 years, and I know that it's possible, and I likely will be here. Now, the reason there's such a jump between this goal and the next goal, because once you have enough money to live the life that you want to live and reinvest into real estate and buy more and basically keep compounding, it's pretty much just a rinse and repeat process of just buying as much real estate as you can and making the most of it until you hit your end goal. There's not really much of a sprint there. It's just kind of like just hustle and grind until you hit your end goal. And what I would consider my end goal, or as I wrote down on my notes here, a 20-year goal, which I think is a reasonable time frame to hit this, would be about $10 million per year in cash flow and at least a net worth of $100 million. Now, I understand that in 20 years, it's very possible that with inflation and with other figures, these numbers are going to have to be a lot higher than what I'm putting them down as today. So I'm talking about this is approximately where I want to be when I'm 40 to 50 years old in today's dollar amounts. And obviously, I have goals after that I don't really need to get into. I think this mostly breaks down kind of like my vision and where I'm trying to be over the next 20 to 30 years. years and why I'm working to invest in real estate so early on, and why I'm making sure that I'm placing each brick as perfect as possible. So let's get into the actual properties that I bought, how they benefited me, and what my strategies are with them. So the very first property that I bought was a triplex, which is essentially a 3-unit building. I think one of them is a 1-bed, there's a 2-bed, and there's also a 3-bed in the apartment. I purchased this, I believe, in late 2019 for around $210,000. I put about $60,000 down. My mortgage is approximately $1,300 per month. Other expenses like water bill, oil, stuff like that is about $500 per month. Gross current rents are about $33.77 per month. Now, the reason it's like this is because obviously I have a couple tenants that are not paying current market rent. So obviously I'm going to put a pro forma thing here, which essentially what that means is it's just like assuming best case scenario, this is the most rent that I'm able to get out of this property. And the pro forma, like max rent, I would say is $37.50 per month. The current cash flow is about $1,500 per month. A couple notes that I took is I didn't do any renovations on this property, but I do foresee about $20,000 in renovations to be able to get the pro forma rents, which, as you can see, like, for me to spend $20,000 and only get like a $400 increase in cash flow, it's not like my biggest priority to go and do that. So honestly, I'm just letting it ride as it is for now, but eventually I will hit the goal. I will hit the pro forma level and, you know, fix up the couple units that need to be fixed up. And I believe the current market value on this property is somewhere around $250,000. Obviously it's all speculation, but I can look at what other buildings are selling for in the area, and most of the triplexes in that area are selling for between $250,000 and $280,000. So I believe $250 is like a pretty conservative rate, and assuming if I put another $20K into renovations and made it even nicer, I think it would be worth even more than $250,000. Now, I've owned this property for 2 years now, and I can confidently say that it was a really good deal. Now, obviously it was my first property that I ever bought. I didn't really know what I was looking for. I kind of sort of did, but without the experience backing it. Now when I'm looking at deals, I have experience. I have kind of like something to compare it to from my own world. Whereas back then, I kind of just ran the numbers and was like, fuck it, let's just do it. But I can say that this building has treated me very, very well over the past couple years. It hasn't had many big issues, and I'm very glad that I bought this property when I did. So the second property that I ever purchased was actually a single family home that I planned on moving into, and I've actually been using it as my primary residence for about a year now. So this single family obviously is out in Arizona. This is when I made the transition from living in Connecticut to moving to Arizona. I bought it for $600,000. I put $92,000 down. That was my down payment. I believe it was like 14%, something along those lines. My mortgage was $28.50 per month, and the reason I say was, you'll find out that reason in a minute here when I cover what I did to this property recently. Expenses are about $11.50 a month. That's utilities, you know, maintaining the pool, the hot tub, the yard. Very, very nice home. If you haven't seen my home tour, feel free to go to my channel and watch that video. I probably uploaded it about a year ago. Pro forma, I don't plan on using this property as a pure rental at any point. I'm basically just living in it, and then at the end of it, I'm just gonna sell it, right? Like, it's not a rental property for me, but it has turned out to be quite a good investment, which is why I wanted to include it in this video here. So my cash flow, I guess you could say, like, how much it's been costing me every single month is about negative $2,000 per month. And the reason it's negative $2,000 per month is because I have actually been, you know, kind of house hacking or renting out rooms of the house to friends and, you know, just other business people that I work with for about $1,500 per month each. So obviously it's not my goal to like rent out this unit or rent out the bedrooms there. I don't have to do it. I'm gonna live in that house either way. It was more of a personal thing for me, but it is something that I did, and it is something to keep note here that when you own real estate, you can collect rents on it, and it doesn't matter what your goal is or however you want to twist it. There's many, many ways to make money in real estate, and renting out rooms where you live is definitely one of those ways. So I did dip my toes in it, and I did make sure to keep track. It brought me about $2,000 per month, like on average, I would say, because I had 2 rooms rented for like 3 or 4 months, and then only 1 room rented for like another 6 months, and then, you know, now I have 2 again. So it's kind of on and off and hard to track. But like I said, this wasn't even supposed to be a rental, and that wasn't really part of the reason I bought this house. So just keep that in mind. The key kicker here is the appreciation on this house, and that's why I wanted to include it in this list, and pretty much why it's been such a great investment for me. Now, the market in Arizona has absolutely blown up. It was blowing up before I bought this house, and I actually thought that I was way overpaying for this house at the time that I bought it. But obviously COVID kicked in, the market shot way up, and the value of the home probably right now is about $830,000. There's like an identical home that sold for $830,000, like 4 houses down. It's literally the same exact home, just copied and pasted, and it just sold for $830,000 about 3 months ago. And to be honest, mine's a little bit nicer. It has got like a better pool and a bigger yard. So, you know, $830,000 is pretty conservative and pretty reasonable for the value of this home. So as you can see, there was about a $230,000 increase in equity in this home over a 1-year span. So my strategy with this house now is essentially to use it as a primary residence for at least 2 years. That way I can take advantage of the tax-free capital gains rule, which I am not an accountant, but if you want to know about it, just go ahead and Google it. Just look up capital gains tax 2 years single family home or something like that. But essentially, if you live in a home for 2 years, you don't have to pay capital gains tax on your capital gains up to $250,000. So halfway through the year, I pretty much cash out refinanced on this home. So as you can see the numbers on the screen, I cashed out $100,000 and my new mortgage is only $31.50 a month. So I basically got $100,000 loan against the property for only like a $300 increase in my payment. I thought this was a pretty good deal and kind of like a no-brainer. Like obviously I should do it, and I still have about $200,000 in equity in the home after doing the cash out refinance. And obviously thanks to appreciation and thanks to COVID, thanks COVID, I now have $0 of my own money, obviously because I cashed out pretty much my entire down payment and any renovations that I did at that property, to be honest. And I'm pretty much going to hold it for another year or two, or pretty much however long I want to live in it. I really like the home, so I might not sell it like right when I hit the 2 years, but pretty much sell it and get those maxed out capital gains up to $250,000. So essentially I have no money in this house. I'm pretty much just living in it, and I plan on selling it at the end. I don't know, maybe like another year or two. I'll probably sell it and just take my capital gains tax free and move on with my life. Probably buy another house and do it again. Now we get into the third building that I purchased. This was shortly after I bought my single family home. Another triplex. Whoop-de-doo, big surprise. I love triplexes, especially in my area. They cash flow really, really good and the numbers work out as compared to like 4 units or 2 units. It's kind of like a good in-between number, to be honest, for my area. So every area kind of has their golden number. So I would recommend looking into your area, comparing things and figuring out what would work best for you. Now, I bought this one for pretty much the same exact price as my first one, $210,000, $60,000 down. I did put about 35 grand into renovations. I pretty much completely redid 2 of the units, 2 out of 3 of the units. One of them still needs a little bit of work, but it's currently rented out, so I'm waiting for that unit to turn over before doing that. Current mortgage is about $1,350 a month. Other expenses about $750 a month. Keep in mind that most of that is because I am actually living in this unit. I am in the unit right now at this exact property, which we'll get into in a minute. The current gross rents are about $31.50 a month. The pro forma rents are about $4,000 per month. Current cash flow is about $1,000 a month. So I think this was a really good deal, just like right off the bat, right? Like I have like 95 grand invested into it. It does have about a 12%, like 12 to 14% a year cash on cash return. So obviously really good investment. This one has treated me incredibly well. And the reason I love this property is because it has a bonus unit. So this building is actually a 4-unit building, and the reason it was sold as a triplex is because it is only zoned to be a triplex. So pretty much at this property it will always be a triplex, but there is an extra unit which you're not legally allowed to rent out. And obviously when I visit Connecticut to work on all my other real estate and see my family and all this stuff, I now have a place to stay. It's essentially a free hotel room for me or a second home, and if I ever really wanted to, I can move back to Connecticut and essentially just have a free place to live, which I think is really, really dope, considering the fact that many people don't get the opportunity to buy a 4-unit for the price of a 3-unit, and then still be able to live in it and experience the full cash flow benefits of a fully rented out 3-unit at the same time. And that is part of the reason the expenses are $750 a month, is because I cover the electric bill for this unit, the bonus unit, and another unit at this building, because they're connected on the same meter. Otherwise, the expenses would be a little bit lower, but that's okay because I'm essentially getting a free hotel room or a free apartment, whatever you want to call it. And this is of course a form of house hacking, but simply because I did put the 25% down. I didn't go FHA or do anything like that, but it is definitely a form of house hacking, and it's probably one of my biggest regrets so far in real estate, besides deals that I passed up on that I shouldn't have. one of my biggest regrets is not FHAing this property or doing some sort of owner-occupied loan on this property. Now, I think at the time I just had the money and I just wanted to get rid of it and park it somewhere. But if I could go back, I definitely would have put a lot less money down and I would have had a much higher return on my investment on this specific property. I don't want to get into why or whatever, but that is one of my regrets. And obviously, even though I made that mistake, I'm still fine, right? Like, I'm not worried about it. I don't really care. But this property has probably been my best purchase so far simply because of the bonus unit. Like, I literally can live in it and it still cash flows like a normal triplex. So really insane deal. Really glad that I bought this and super grateful for the people that helped me buy this. You guys know who you are. Now, to reach the pro forma, it needs about another $15,000 in renovations. And also, I'm currently letting one of my really good friends stay here for a little bit. I'm not going to get into why, but the rents are way lower than they should be. So once I have a couple units turnover, the rents are going to go up like quite a bit. Really nice units, really nice area, prime area, right close to everything. So I think, after I do the renovation and turn over a couple units, this property is probably going to cash flow about $2,000 per month, which sounds ridiculous, but it's definitely realistic. So at the end of it all, once it's rented at market value, I'll probably have about $100,000 into this deal and it'll be making me about $2,000 every single month, which is really, really insane. And it's a really, really good return on investment. And I can't wait to maximize it and get it to that point. Current value on this building, if I had to estimate, is probably about $260,000 to $280,000. Obviously the market is crazy right now, so it's hard to predict, yada, yada. You guys heard it before. So let's get into the fourth property that I purchased, which I actually purchased very recently. It's a 5-unit building in the same area as my last building. I put $82,000 down, and fair warning, these numbers are going to be very ugly simply because this building needed a lot of work and there's still a lot of like turnover that needs to happen to get it to become a good investment. But I'll kind of run you through the numbers and hopefully you can see the end picture. If not, maybe I'll make a follow-up video like in a year to see the progress on this building and how this investment turns out, because like I said, I literally just bought this and we're in the process of doing all the renovations and getting all the things fixed to get it to become a good investment. So 5 units, bought it for $350,000. I put $82,000 down, so like I said, 25%, somewhere around there. I have spent $0 on renovations so far, but we'll get into what I am going to spend on renovations during my ownership here. The mortgage is about $2,300 per month. Expenses are about another $1,000 per month on top of that. Gross rents currently are about $3,150 per month. Super low, and there's a couple units that are vacant that we're going in and renovating and re-renting out. Pro forma rents though, like once all the units are fully renovated and really nice and I get market rents on every single unit, is going to be about $6,700 per month. You can see why I love this deal so much. It's in a really good location. I think it has really great potential, and by the time I'm done with it, this thing is going to be an absolute cash cow. And I'm super excited to be able to go through the experience of doing the renovations and renting it out and going, basically learning all these things while, having this opportunity to make a bunch of money while I do it. I think it's really good, and I personally think this is a really good deal right now, but like I said, I literally just bought it, so we'll have to wait a year or 2, 3 years maybe to see how it actually plays out. Current cash flow is negative. Essentially, I'm about to drop $40,000 on renovations to completely redo 2 of the units. It has some HVAC issues that I need to do, and there's also some common areas that I'm gonna make really, really nice. So after I spend about $40K, it'll bring the initial cash flow up to about $2,000 per month. So if you look at the numbers, that's a total of about $125,000 of my own money in this property to bring in about $2,000 per month in cash flow. Not half bad. After that, I plan on doing another $45,000 in renovations, which will bring up the cash flow like another $1,500 a month or so, bringing the total cash flow to about $3,000 to $3,500 per month, which I think is just an absolutely incredible return on investment. It's about 20% a year if you break down the numbers and look into it. And I'm super excited that I had the opportunity to buy this deal and that I'm going to go through all these renovations. I'm pumped up. I'm excited to see where I end up. So the current value of the property is about $400,000, and the ARV, basically after I get the rents up to market value, I believe is going to be somewhere between $450,000 to $500,000. Now, I'm not a genius with calculating ARV, so these numbers could be completely wonky, which is why I said you should take everything that I say lightly in the beginning of this video, because I am definitely still a beginner with real estate and I'm still learning a whole lot. But yeah, that's pretty much my whole entire portfolio. Now, I do have plans in the future that I could talk about, but I don't know how much you guys want to hear about real estate. So if you enjoy this video, make sure to let me know in the comment section if you want me to make more videos about kind of what I'm doing in this world. I definitely am open to it. Obviously, I want to stay focused on e-commerce and, you know, the main way that we make money, right? But I am doing a lot with real estate on the side, and it's exciting to be able to share it with you. And I'm glad that you guys wanted to hear about my portfolio and kind of see what I'm doing with real estate, because it really excites me and it is something that I'm definitely passionate about. So that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any feedback or questions or whatever you guys want to talk about, just about real estate in general, let me know in the comment section. Leave a like if you want to see more videos like this. But that's pretty much it for this video. This is Brewer, and I'm out. Peace.